Hey y'all, I'm back. Second video of the day. I'm on the road, okay? It's almost 12 o'clock here, so I'll probably make this a little short video so that I could meet my goal. I said I was gonna come back, and I've been waiting all day in meditation, praying, just giving God time to give me something else to talk to y'all about today, and it came to me. Um, Collective, we have to be careful with our hearts. Be careful with your heart. Okay, so that's going to be the topic of this video. Let me go ahead and get our prayer in, and then I'm gonna just let y'all know what's on my mind, give y'all some pointers, some tips on how to be careful with your heart and why you should do so. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Irrahmanirrahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. Okay, so I was going to translate it in English again, but I don't think I'm going to do that on every video. I'm going to memorize it in English. I'm going to do that. So I know exactly why God wants me to warn you to be careful with your heart. Okay, so I was actually talking to my mom earlier, and I mentioned in the other video that I've been going through a situation that's been very confusing. I'm not going to give any details like about that situation because it's still panning out, which leads me to another thing I wanted to address. So in my video earlier, I was saying how it's important not to allow anyone to silence you. Well, at the same time, it's very important to be very careful about the type of information that you do share. You don't want to... I was saying how I used to be very vocal, and I realized that there's really nothing wrong with that, other than the fact that at times you need to protect yourself, and sometimes things need to play out before you should speak on them, because we are faced with challenges and situations and experiences that are we're perceiving one way that might turn out a completely different way. So like earlier, okay, so in front of my camera, behind my computer, I'm right in front of a window. So I just have to address the fact that this is my natural skin color. Like, I'm brown skin, but when I'm in the light, as y'all know, you other brown skin girls, I literally reflect the light. So if the light is shining on me, I'm gonna appear brighter, which I think is beautiful. But I just turn on my camera and I'm like, oh, look at my normal colors here. Okay, so but that's a perfect example of how we may perceive things one way, and it takes some time and some discernment to really let things plan out so that you can see whether or not your perception of the reality that you are experiencing is actually blinding you to the facts of the matter. Okay, and one thing that I do pray for is discernment. I've started praying for God to give me discernment probably about 4 years ago. I was in a relationship with someone for 4 years. It was actually my last serious relationship before I had my daughter. Completely different person. It's not the same person as my daughter's father, but I was with him for a long time. It was probably the longest relationship I've ever had. Most of my relationships usually would last about 3 years. So to make it to almost 4 years with him, I was like, wow, I thought that I was going to actually end up marrying him. But at the same time, I knew it wasn't going to happen that way because he was clearly showing me that that's not what he wanted. Um, but after that experience, because let me tell y'all, this man made it seem like he cared so much about me. And I'm not going to say that he didn't, because he's a human being and I'm a human being and my heart is so big. I'm noticing that even sometimes people come into my life and want to cause me harm, but they can't. And that's just God's protection around me. That's the reason why God gave me such a big heart. Your big heart is your protection. But you have to guard your good heart, because it's only so far that you alone and your heart can take you in certain circumstances. Like if you're not using discernment, um if you're not using discernment enough, your perception could easily lead you into a circumstance where you make a bad decision. And let me go ahead and get the definition of discernment really quickly. Discernment. So, the meaning of discernment is the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure, and is an act of perceiving or discerning something. Let's look up obscure. Obscure. Not discovered or known about. Uncertain. Keep from being seen or to conceal. That is the meaning of obscure. So again, discernment is the quality of being able to grasp and comprehend what is obscure. So what is actually being concealed, what is not discovered, what is unknown. This is discernment. This is so important, because if you're someone like me who has a good heart, you always putting other people in front of you. You're always being empathetic. I used that word in my last video. Being empathetic about what someone else may be going through, their life experiences, why they are who they are, and having a good heart, you might ignore some of the signs that God is trying to show you, or misinterpret the signs because you're so busy trying to protect this person or protect whoever or whatever is going on. So I really do just thank God so much, because she answers prayers. When I tell you, when I started asking for the gift of discernment, I started to be so much better with my intuition. Not only at following my intuition, but actually being able to recognize when God is giving me a warning. And ultimately that's what your intuition is. It's God's way of giving you a warning on how you need to maneuver moving forward. And so in the beginning of that relationship, so I have never had a problem getting a man that was fine. Like all of my exes are fine. I will give them that. On the outside, beautiful, beautiful guys, beautiful men. And like all of us, just like myself, it later was revealed that there was some ugly things that was going on in the inside of them. And not having that discernment early on and only leading with my heart caused me to be in situations and relationships a lot longer than I probably should have. Although I'm very aware that, everything happens for a reason. I do not believe in coincidences. Everything happens for a reason. But, having the strength to walk away from a situation that is not serving you is hard, especially when you have your heart in it. Especially when you have compassion for somebody, you have loyalty for that person, you actually love this person, but they are continually showing you that they don't deserve it, and you will find yourself ignoring that they're not deserving because you have a good heart. It's so important to protect your heart. What do I mean by protecting your heart? When, like, there's literally a feeling, it goes right along with your intuition. It's almost like your heart drops, or if you've been pregnant, women, the closest feeling that I can give to you is like the feeling of pregnancy. When you first get pregnant, in that first trimester, there's this, it's not pain, it's in your stomach. It's not a pain, it's not quite nausea. It's like, it's almost like an emptiness type of feeling. It's like, that's kind of how I can explain it. It's like you feel a sense of like, you feel that something is there, but you also feel that void. Like, so the reason why I'm using the pregnancy example is merely because of the feeling. Like, of course, you know that you're pregnant, you're having a baby, the baby is growing inside of you. But maybe the reason why I'm saying there's a void feeling is because the baby is still being developed. You know what I mean? Your body is creating limbs. Your body is creating parts that have not been formed. And there's almost a feeling of emptiness, yet not. You know what I mean? Like, all the women who've been pregnant, you know what I'm talking about. It's like, it's in the very first trimester before the baby is formed, okay? And when I say my first trimesters were both, I was so sick. So there's a lot of void because I was throwing up all the damn time, okay? Could not keep nothing down. Like, my son and my daughter both, I have the same experience. It was worse with my daughter probably, but honestly, it was so bad. It took me 10 years to have another baby. Like, when I had my son, I was like, I'm never having another child again. Mind you, I wanted like 5 kids growing up. I always wanted the same amount of children that my grandmother had. Like, I was like, I want 5 children. I want to be married. I want 5 babies. I want a house full of love. But when I had that first baby, I was like, this is what I got to go through every time. I'm not doing this again. Me and my son, we going to be good. Okay? So it literally took me 10 years, 9 years, to even decide to become pregnant again. Okay? So, but yeah, so when you're protecting your heart, it's almost the same type of feeling. It's like, that something is void, yet your heart is working. Your heart is working. Your heart is full of love. Your heart is trying to protect you at the same time. Encouraging you to love yourself more. You know what I mean? So it's 12:02 on the clock. Like, I think that that's good enough for tonight. I really wanted to get on here and share that message with y'all because my previous video, I know it was really heavy. And, you know, I also want to remind you all that while you're not allowing yourself to be silenced, that it's okay to keep some things private. It is totally okay. I do not want to come across like I am encouraging you to, there go my nose again. My nose ain't been running all day, but as soon as I get here and talk to y'all, my nose start running. it's totally okay to keep things private. At the same time of you not allowing anyone to silence you, it's important for you to not allow anyone to force you to speak on things prematurely. And that's important, especially when you're manifesting things in your life, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. And so when it comes to not being silenced, you have to be mindful of the energy. And I realized that, I had a lot of courage, you know, um, when I was younger to speak up and voice my opinion. But as I got older, I became more conscious about what kind of information I wanted to share. And I also became very fearful of people having the ability to speak on things that I've been through, question things that I've been through. And it's not until now that I'm really finally, I just give God the glory, because I'm not worried about other people's perceptions of me. And I have been worried about that for so long. Like, I don't want to be seen a certain way. But regardless of, you know, how people perceive you, you have to remember that that's their perception. You are never going to appease everyone. Okay? You are never going to have everybody on the same accord. People who are meant to be in your life, people who are meant to hear your message, that's up to God. That's up to God. That is up to God. You have no control over that. But having the courage to actually put yourself out there is something that comes with time, you know. And so don't be hard on yourself if you are being silent. You have the right to be silent. I still have things that I go through, that I'm going through right now, that I will not speak on, because it's not going to serve me right now. There's nothing for me. I have no desire to speak on those things. And so guard your heart and pray and ask God for discernment, okay? So that you can be more knowledgeable and more comfortable and more sure about the things that you do want to share with the people around you and the world, at large. So I love y'all. I am done. I'm gonna upload this video and I will be back tomorrow. Okay? I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you did watch the other video. If you didn't, go ahead and check it out. While you're here, please like the video so I can get in the algorithm. Algorithm. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, I'll probably do some tarot tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna use my discernment. All right, love y'all. Bye.